Welcome in. Moose at the box. Tigers win. That was a great ball game for LSU, and I'm fired up to get into it. Started slow, finished strong. The pitching was absolutely incredible. Gage Jump gives you just the freaking follow-up that you were looking for from last week. That was absolutely incredible from Gage Jump all night long. Really battled a high pitch count early in the ball game. Battled the high pitch count early in the ball game and followed it up with a 5-pitch seventh. He went in there at 6-pitch seventh. Went in there at 95 pitches, I believe, exited at 101. He was incredible. 2 pitches, 2 outs, and then got the ground out to end the inning. So, I mean, Gage Jump was awesome because for a moment there, it looked like you were only going to get 5 out of him, and he gives you 7. We'll get deeper into what he did, but he was incredible. And then offensively for LSU, started slow. Tip of the hat to Dylan Watts. That was his longest outing of the season by far. Before that, it was 4 innings. He was awesome. He pounded the zone, got a lot of weak contact, a lot of quick outs. You had 2 solo homers. 2-run homers. This team could never, right? 2 solo homers to take a 2-0 lead. So you chipped away and you were able to chase him in the 6th. But overall, we'll get deeper into the offense here momentarily, but what you saw from them at the end was pretty incredible. I mean, the 6th, 7th, and 8th, they really, really came alive, and I mean, they were awesome. So y'all smash the like button, and we'll get a little bit deeper into this here. So Gage Jump, they looked like they approached it a little differently with him this go-round. If you remember against Missouri, it was a lot of fastball curveball. Tonight it looked a lot more fastball slider, and he would flip the curveball in occasionally. He used more pitches earlier in the ball game tonight as well than he did against Missouri. But I mean, he got the first. I mean, he picked up right where he left off. 3 up, 3 down, a strikeout. Gets the other, 3 up, 3 down again in the second. Pitches around it in the third, but gets you out of it. I mean, he was just awesome all night long. I know I jumped ahead and kind of already highlighted the 6th and 7th innings, but that's where he really, really shined because the pitch count was not in a good spot at all after 5 for him. But he was battling, and then for him to get you those extra 2, again, I know I just said that, so I'm repeating myself, but it was just massive. So what's ultimately encouraging there, you can look at the 7 shutout innings, and that's obviously great. But I look at it more as he did it differently this time, but it was just as effective. Like against Missouri, it was 7 innings, 14 strikeouts, no walks. That's great. This go-round, 7 innings, no runs, still no walks, which is just huge, and 5 strikeouts. So he was able to pitch to contact. He was able to use his defense, and they were phenomenal behind him once again, and that's massive for this LSU team. They need to be flawless like that behind their pitchers, and they were tonight. That was great. 2 straight shutouts for LSU, and you know what? I buried the lead. I wanted to mention this right off the top, and I buried the lead. LSU's won 3 games in a row. That's officially a winning streak, and it's the first time LSU has won 3 games in a row since March 6th through the 9th. That was part of a 9-game winning streak. It was the tail end of that 9-game winning streak. They would lose the Sunday game to Xavier to break it. But this is the first time LSU has won 3 games in a row since March 6th through the 9th. Nice. So that's obviously fantastic. And you've got 2 shutouts in a row. That continues to be a big storyline. LSU's pitching is showing up right now, y'all. And you did it without having to use Griffin Herring, which is obviously huge. We're going to get to Christian Little because I'm fired up for Christian Little. So we're going to get to that. But the 2 straight shutouts, we talked about it. Coming into this series, in their last 11 games, the pitching staff had a 3.50 ERA. That was a full run lower than their season ERA and more than 3 runs lower than their conference-only ERA, and they backed that up tonight. They are trending very much in the right direction. You can see guys developing and getting better. I mean, look at a guy like Gage Jump. That is what you expected the team to look like early in the year. We're not crowning them. They got a long way to go still, but this is a major step in the right direction for the pitching staff. Let's talk about Christian Little, and then we'll get into the offense deeper because I can't wait to talk about the 7th inning. But we're going to talk about Christian Little first. I don't want to overstate this, but that looked like Christian Little at the beginning of last year. Like the Christian Little that closed out Texas on the road last year, that's the guy you saw tonight. And by the way, that's the guy you saw against Nichols, and that's why I think that's why I'm getting excited. I think that's why you should get excited. He just strung together not 2 good outings. He strung together 2 dominant outings, did Christian Little. That's 4 straight shutout innings in a row for him now. He struck out the side in his first inning tonight. He was awesome. And if you can get that from him consistently, look out. Like, look out. You just found a huge weapon in your bullpen because we know how good the stuff is from Christian Little. The fastball is going to be mid to upper 90s, and he's got 2 different breaking balls. The kid throws like 5 pitches. And he was all over the strike zone tonight. He was awesome. He was awesome. And that's 2 times in a row. So I can't wait to watch him pitch again. That was really, really encouraging, and that could just be a huge piece if he does emerge at the back end of your bullpen. Like, when I said I don't want to overstate it, that looked like him at the beginning of last year, and the beginning of last year is the best Christian Little has looked in college baseball. It just is. We talked about how good he can be preseason if he's throwing strikes. You've seen that now the last 2 weeks. The last 2 outings. Let's see. I don't know if you see him again this weekend, but you will see him again in short order. And if it looks like that again, you can really start getting excited. All right, let's talk about the offense, and then we will go ahead and shout out to the Christian Little Burner account in the YouTube chat. That's awesome. And then we'll get to some of y'all's comments and questions and things like that. Offensively, they started slow. And again, we said it off the top, but credit Dylan Watts. He had pitched 4 innings. It was his longest outing of the year. Coming into the night, he was awesome. He was all over the zone. LSU's at-bats weren't very competitive. They were actually disappointing at-bats early. You had a lot of strikeouts. You had some strikeouts looking as well. I mean, they fed Paxton Clean just a steady diet of breaking balls all night long at the top of the order. And it just, it wasn't great. They weren't competitive at-bats. That's what was a little disappointing. And that was illustrated by his low pitch count. He was at 26, 27 pitches the first time through the order, 9 up, 9 down. That can't happen. That's ultimately what allowed him to extend that, and he was pitching well. But you did have 2 big swings off of him. Tommy White with the solo home run in the 4th inning to open the scoring for LSU, and then Hayden Travinski with the solo home run in the 5th inning to make it a 2-0 ball game. And then you were finally able to chase Watts in the 6th. Larson collects a solid single up the middle, and they went and yanked him. They brought on John Armstrong. They weren't going to let Watts face Tommy White a 3rd time. And Armstrong comes on. White singles off of him promptly, but Auburn's able to get out of that inning. That's when you get the big shutdown 7th from Jump, where he throws 5 pitches or 6 pitches, whatever it was, and get you back in the dugout. Actually, and one more thing about Jump. I just thought of this when I brought that up. LSU did him no favors with the quick innings they had on offense. They just kept putting him back out there, and he was awesome. He did not let it phase him, and that was massive from Gage Jump. But he gets you that shutdown 7th. You get back out there. Griffin Herring's warming, and it looks like you're going to him. And LSU strings together a massive rally in the 7th inning. You have a single by Travinski, a single by Braswell. So you have runners at the corners. You then end up with some outs. But LSU gets aggressive on the base paths. They steal Braswell to see if Auburn will throw through and have Travinski break home. The catcher bluffs a throw down to 2nd. Travinski stops at 3rd. Braswell stops in the middle of 1st and 2nd, just like he's supposed to do, and forces the catcher to make a decision. He throws to 3rd. Great heads-up base running of both Braswell and Travinski. Travinski gets back, and Braswell takes 2nd on the throw. So you have runners at 2nd and 3rd, 2 strikes to Milazzo, and on the next pitch, he drills a double to left center field over the head of Stanfield. They were playing in and you score the 2 runs, it makes it a 4-0 ball game. Ashton Larson would come back up and ultimately drop a little single into left field, and that would score Milazzo and make it 5-0. That'd be your final margin. But that hit from Milazzo was so big for so many different reasons. Number one, it got Griffin Herring to sit down in the bullpen. Number one, like, it got you to a comfortable enough lead where they felt good enough to go to somebody other and save your best arm. That is absolutely massive. It was massive because it came with 2 outs and 2 strikes. It was massive because did you see the reaction from the team? Like, they were extreme, and somebody brought this up to me on Twitter as well, and I can't remember the guy's name. I think it was Cody. And I told him, I said, I noticed that too. And he said, you know, it shows you what they think of Milazzo, and he's absolutely right. And you should. Alex Milazzo should have that type of reaction. He's a veteran leader for this team, or at least he should be, right? He's a Louisiana guy. When he gets to second, he holds up the Tigers on his jersey. He understands what it means, right? But the other thing, not just the reaction they had to Milazzo, but the reaction they had in general. It is so good to see the fire from that team. Jay Johnson said something on Thursday that this is as close as a team as they've been so far. This is as close as a team they've been so far this season. And it showed on that Milazzo hit. So that was just a massive, massive moment in it. And then Quinn Larson. Larson ends up with 2 hits tonight and an RBI. The kid's incredible. He just keeps getting better and better. LSU's offense, the thing I loved most, you started slow, but they didn't give in, and you hit the bullpen again. That is what's so encouraging to me right now about this team. They hit the bullpen again. LSU was sitting on 2 hits through 5 innings. They ended up with 5 runs on 9 hits. 2 runs on 2 hits through 5 innings. They end up 5 runs. So you scored 3 more runs and had 7 more hits over the final 3 at-bats. A few weeks ago, you would have never seen that from this team. That is major strides. So that's something we wanted to see, was strides from this team, continue the trek that they're on. They've done that through 1 game. Now you have a few more. We'll get to that momentarily. Randall Offreck just asked, when do you see Thatcher Hurd? You're going to see Thatcher Hurd at some point this weekend. My gut tells me probably Sunday, probably late in the game. Jay Johnson might have tipped his hand a little bit Thursday when he met with the media. He was asked about a role for Thatcher Hurd, and he didn't come out and say it, but you look at where Hurd pitched on Tuesday. It was at the back end of the game, and when Jay talked about Hurd on Thursday, he mentioned him closing out games and finishing games off late in the year last year down the stretch in SEC play. Alabama, Auburn, Georgia. That could be where you see Thatcher Hurd. They're going to go to Griffin Herring tomorrow if they have a chance to win, and they should. So that's why I say if you have a chance to close this weekend out potentially with the S word on Sunday, that's where maybe you could see Thatcher Hurd. But I think that might be something they want to have him do going forward, because this is right around the time last year when they put him in that role, and right around the time last year when he started to kind of figure it out. So they could be trying to replicate that a little bit with Thatcher Hurd this year. Just something to keep in mind. If y'all have any more questions, y'all bring them. I'll try to answer them as best as I can. But right now, I do want to talk a little bit about tomorrow. You're going to be facing a lefty on the mound. I'll be very curious to see the lineup. They ran this back for the second time in a row. This was the exact lineup, spot for spot, position for position from Tuesday. And I'm pretty sure that's the first time LSU has done that all year so far. It makes a lot of sense to do it again, but LSU has gone righty heavy when they faced left-handed pitchers. Now, the thing is, Mac Bingham just hasn't really been great. Mac Bingham just has not been good enough, I don't think, to do that. So I'd actually run this back. I would leave Pearson in there. You're definitely going to leave Larson in there, but you're still, 7 out of 9 hitters. So I would run it back, but I'll be real curious to see what they do. You need a massive bounce back from Luke Holman. There's no 2 ways about it, y'all. There is no 2 ways about the massive bounce back you need from Holman. He was not good at Missouri, but we talked about it in the preview. He's been great bouncing back at home on the road. He was awesome against Florida. The 7 innings, the 1 run, the 13 strikeouts. He was phenomenal that night. That was after the state game. He was great against Vanderbilt. 10 strikeouts, 6 innings, didn't walk anybody. That was coming off the Arkansas game. What does he do for an encore coming off that Missouri game? That's what I want to see. And I'm expecting a really strong outing, really strong outing from Luke Holman tomorrow. And look, you have Griffin Herring. You can go Holman Herring, which has been so good for you. You have that luxury. You need to continue hitting the ball. And you know, you'll just ride your pitching, hopefully. So Seth Rushing, people still tailgating? Absolutely, man. Come on now. You got to party after the dub. We know this. Tiger fans don't leave right after the game's over. They're going to sit there, crack another beer, maybe eat some leftovers, let some traffic pass. Yeah, they're still tailgating. So this is a massive game tomorrow because LSU's taking strides in the right direction. The one thing they still have to do is figure out consistency. The goal tomorrow is not only to win, but is to avoid what happened Saturday at Missouri. That's their goal tomorrow. You have not won back-to-back games in conference play yet. You have not won back-to-back games in conference play yet. You have a great opportunity tomorrow. You have just as good of an opportunity tomorrow to win back-to-back games on Saturday that you did last week, Saturday against Missouri. So you have to avoid that. Luke Holman can do that by getting you off to a great start. And that's ultimately what you're looking for. So that is going to be, you win back-to-back games in conference play, you figure out how to avoid what happened at Missouri. That's the biggest step this team can take towards building consistency because they're playing better baseball right now. That is undeniable. That is undeniable that LSU is playing better baseball. They just have to figure out the consistency part, and you're starting to see it. Gage Jump, maybe Christian Little, the offense hitting the bullpen more. Now can you go win 2 games in a row in conference play? That's the final question that they have to answer, and we'll see if they can get that done tomorrow. Y'all smash the like button one more time. Get subscribed. Dennis Guidry. Is Guidry hurt? No. Gavin Guidry had a baseball in his hand, warming in the bullpen when Christian Little was on the mound. They just didn't need him. And I believe he also warmed up on Tuesday night, so he's fine. Y'all smash the like button one more time. And get subscribed to the YouTube channel. Get subscribed up on your favorite podcast app as well. It's Moose with the Box. It's greatly appreciated. Love the interaction. And we'll do it again tomorrow, hopefully after another Tiger dub.